Okay, now we should be good. All right, let me know the audio levels are weird, but anyway, so that's good. So we're back. This should work this time, I hope. Um, I've been playing with, OBS all day. So I switched back from, um, what was it called, Streamlabs, because it was giving me hell. So we're using OBS again, and I think it's working. So, but anyway, so today the plan is we're gonna do a one stream learning Docker side quest, I guess. So I'm gonna continue on from the very brief ending that we had last time, where I started with Docker. I want to go through this entire thing. I want to do the building images, the running containers, as well as the entire Docker workshop, as well as maybe look at these educational resources to see if there's anything that I should use. But I think this will give me enough basics to use Docker to containerize the database in my stack. So that's the plan. That's the goal. So without further ado, let's begin. So let's get started with the timer. And so we're gonna do, what is a registry? So let's see, registry. So again, this is going to be on tick Docker. Again, this is going to be a study stream primarily. So, yo, how's it going, Satya? You know? What do you mean? Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so let's see. Now that you know what a container and an image is, all good meaning schema for media. Oh, making the schema for the media pipeline. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, so today, as I said, doing Docker. So it's going to be like studying and stuff like that. So I'm going to be doing my normal routine. So basically just GitHub, but for images, in the sense that it's a cloud platform to store and share images, Docker images. Okay. Docker Hub is a popular option. There are many alternatives. I tried Kimi AI, and it's good in terms of reviewing your mistakes and approaching compared to Claude or GPT. Interesting. I've heard Kimi is good. I've heard it's really affordable as well, which is nice. But that's cool. There are many registries, including Docker Hub, which I guess there would be a link for. So let's do that, including Docker Hub, and then we can like put in a couple others. Amazon, Elastic, Container Registry, etc. The issue is it takes a lot of time to answer. It thinks a lot, same as DeepSeek. Ah, got you. Okay, so the speed maybe isn't quite there then. Honestly, I don't know much about the AI, the LLM capabilities, because I don't use them. So, but I'm aware of Kimi and DeepSeek and all these guys, all these players. So, and I think Opus 5. I think it was Opus 5. They just skipped 4.9. They just dropped Opus 5. I think it was today or yesterday. So I've heard that one's okay. At least the people on X seem to think it's okay. So So there's a difference between registry and repository. So registry versus repository. Centralized location that stores and manages container images. Okay, so registry is the service itself that hosts the images, and a repository is a collection of related images within a registry, e.g. Docker Hub. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You will learn about how to build and push Docker image to the Docker Hub repository. Perfect. All right, let's go to Docker Hub and create an account. I mean, maybe I can sign in with, let's do GitHub maybe. Yep. Oh, okay, I can create my username for BenStack. Started the Odin Project yesterday, inspired, nice. That's awesome. How have you been finding it so far? I don't know, you're probably just in the very beginning stages of it, but it's good stuff. What tool do you use for making video? What do you mean? Like for streaming? Oh, username's already taken, damn it. Let's say BenStack dev, maybe? There we go. Okay. I gotta do the 2FA here. Let's see here. Okay, cool. For streaming, I use OBS. Open Broadcaster software. It's free. Okay, so now we're in here, so that's good. So then select your namespace. Okay, so select the create repository button in the top corner. Yeah, no worries, no worries. Where is the create repository? What the hell? Sign in. Oh, example of repositories. My hub. Oh, it's right here. It was staring me right in the face. Okay. So we'll do Docker quick start. And then visibility to public, that's fine. Okay, let me create it. Okay, so here's my image. And then let's do this. So we'll create a let's go into terminal. So let's go into CD, I think it's web projects Docker, and then we can clone it. This example project, pretty basic. And then Docker build T, and then it's BenStack dev / Docker quick start. And then what's the period? Where to find the Docker file. Ah, I see, okay. So that's good. So let's see. Build Docker image and publish to registry. So we'll say Docker build -t Docker user name / Docker image, and then repository, local repository, or local path, I guess, to it. That's fine. Thanks, Ben. I'm like 6%. I'll enjoy the process as much as I can, though. I decided to go JavaScript path after foundations tips. My one tip that I would say that has helped me is if you feel like you can, try and do TypeScript instead of JavaScript. So when you get to the after foundations, do vanilla JavaScript for the foundations. But then once you get to the JavaScript course in the path, then I would recommend trying to learn a bit of TypeScript on top of it. What do you use for streaming? OBS? Yes, I do, Chimpa. Yep. Just regular OBS. I was using Streamlabs for a while, but it was really, really slow on my machine. And yesterday I tried to stream with it, and it literally would not let me stream without crashing. And I don't know what happened. I tried updating it. I tried restarting my machine, and it just wasn't working. So yesterday and today, kind of took a step back, reinstalled OBS, and I think Streamlabs is actually like a fork of OBS anyway, with like a bunch of things like chat and stuff like that. Yeah, so I took a step back, installed OBS, rebuilt my layout, and now we're I think good. So the chat overlay should be working as expected. Yep, looks good. So I mean, all of the usernames are the same color, but yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, so I'm gonna play with the layout a little bit more. I also did add, I think, if it works, I don't know if it works for sure, but I added membership and super chat alerts. I don't know if they work though, but I'm assuming they do. I can make this TypeScript choice within the course, or I'll outsource the learning. Yeah, so I would outsource the learning. So this is what I would do: is I would do everything like that Odin Project tells you to do, but every JavaScript section just substitute for TypeScript. And then to fill in the gaps, I would use the TypeScript handbook, which will kind of like tell you how to translate from JavaScript to TypeScript, right? So like there's even a section here like TypeScript for JavaScript programmers. Like you should for sure have the basics of JavaScript down before you try TypeScript. But if you feel comfortable, you should try using TypeScript because it's what it's used in the industry most often. And it will make it a lot easier for you to understand how or not even like understand, but I guess understand like how your code base works, as well as like if you take a break from a repository or take a break from a project and come back to it, it makes it kind of easy because then you can see, oh, this function takes data with this exact type, and then you're not left guessing, right? Or you don't have to put in comments and stuff like this. Like it makes your code behave a lot more predictably at a glance, if that makes any sense. Like you're not guessing what data type a certain function takes, and then if you try to if you forget the what the argument types are, and then you try to add functionality later, you might forget, and then your whole API that you've written will break because you're feeding it something of the wrong type, and JavaScript it'll give you a really cryptic error message, these sorts of things. What's your opinion about full stack open course? I think it's a good option. I actually have it added here. I haven't actually ever used it before, but I think it's a really good option if you want an alternative to Odin Project. And you also kind of want to jump right into React and stuff, right? Like if you already know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript at a basic level, this is easier if you want to just jump right into using frameworks and stuff like this, right? So that's what I would say. So anyway, so that's that. I don't know why this is open. Oh, because this is the Hello World demo. Okay. What's that you're using for notes? I use Obsidian. Yep. Here's a link to download it. It's a free note-taking app. So, have at her. But yeah, I use it with a few plugins as well. I have a style and stuff like that. But yeah, so again, as I said earlier, teaching myself Docker a little bit this stream. So not really working on any project specifically. And then tomorrow, I think the next stream is I'll be getting into my file uploader app. Big excited to work on translating JavaScript knowledge to TypeScript. Appreciate you. Really solid tip. Yeah, no worries. And if you have any questions, just pop it in the Discord, and myself or somebody else will we'll get back to you on that. Or if you don't use Discord, you can always, I also have, you can always shoot me an email, which is in my FAQ section, or you can, and it's in the description, I think, or you can, I open my community tab as well on my YouTube, so you can, there's multiple places you can go. So I don't know. All right, so this is good. So we're gonna build it, or did I already build it? I don't know if I ran the command yet. Let's see. All right, so it's building, and I'm surprised it just let me do that. I'm surprised it just let me, if it like knew what my username was, right? I don't know. Okay, so I have a bunch of images, right? Because, oh, whoops, that's not what I wanted. I have a bunch of images because I was doing the tutorial last time. So, okay, so I have, this is the one that we want, right? No, it's, where is it? Oh, maybe it's not in here. Oh no, Docker Quick Start. Yeah, this is it. Docker Quick Start. It's right here. So that's the image we want, and then we can run that image on port 8080. I should probably also stop all of these other ones. So what would it be? It would be like Docker stop C4D would stop that one. E27, 240, B9D, B68. I don't know. There's probably a way to stop all of them, but I don't actually know how to do that. Oh, okay. So that doesn't work, I guess. Docker stop. That should just stop the no such container. Oh, because these are images. Never mind. I need the containers. Docker PS maybe? That's what it is. Okay. Okay, so then now I can do Docker stop EF2. Okay, so that'll stop that one. It'll stop. We can do A59. Those were images, not containers, which are different, as it turns out. EC8 and then D30. Okay, that'll stop all of those. Good. Does taking notes help? It helps me personally, yeah. I that's just my learning style, Sadra, but yeah, that's just my preference. But you can do you. So let's run this. So Docker run -d. I don't know what the Docker run flags. Let's see what the flags are. I just want to see here. So D is detach. Okay. So I'm gonna probably put this inside of like, I guess it'd be in containers, right? Running containers. Docker run command flags. So -d is detach. So run in background. And then what's the other one? -p. And then I can also just like put a reference here as well. Docs. There we go. Cool. Publish. Okay. So P is publish running container to port. Okay. Nice. Can I ask how? Like, when do you use the notes after you write them? I often do. I review them usually if I'm trying to then implement something like so. So this is what I normally. This is my loop. Probably almost never. Yeah. And even if you don't use them that much, the action of taking the note helps with retention. At least for me, and kind of understanding. So even if you don't use them that much, I find that just the action of writing the note helps understanding. It's kind of like a way of, it's like a second, it's like an additional output method. Am I going to switch to tech later? What do you mean? Like project? Are you sharing your screen right now? What do you mean? Yeah, I am sharing my screen. This is my screen here. But yeah, so what was I gonna say? Yeah. So usually what I'll do is I'll read stuff and then I'll take notes, and then I'll start building projects with the knowledge that I gained. Right, the knowledge that I gained kind of helps me with the project, and then as I am working on the project, I'll either go to the official documentation or I'll go to my own notes. Right, like I have a shit ton of notes in here, guys. Like I have notes on advanced HTML, CSS. I have notes on Node and Express. I have notes on React. And I often do return to these, especially like when I'm doing stuff like even off stream, to solidify my my understanding. Like after building a couple of projects, will you switch your job from your current tech job? Oh, I doubt it. At least not right away. The job market is really, really tough right now, and my job is stable, and I do not want to jeopardize losing it. So probably not. And I also like realistically, guys, like I don't have like sure I come on here and I kind of feel like a LARPer a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but sure I have 6 months of experience, whatever it is, but I'm realistically not good enough to get a developer job yet. Maybe in a couple of years, you know. But I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing here and work on my my 9 to 5, and you know I'm pretty risk averse when it comes to these sorts of things. And so yeah, that's basically it. I make enough to live well off of my current job, and I don't really want to risk losing it. Plus, with the way that the job market's going, a lot of companies are looking to be AI first, quote unquote, and that's not really something that interests me for working. I feel like if I was going to work for an agency or a company, I would want to do it kind of, you know, in my own terms, I guess, which isn't really realistic. So I don't know. Like whether it would be like, you know, I if it was me, I'd probably, I mean, I would still learn AI, but I wouldn't rely on it as heavily, and I wouldn't be as blindly trusting of it as many others are. Like that would concern me. You know, that concerns me like not only from like a interest point of view, but also just ethically. How did you feel with these kind of videos when you started? What do you mean? Like making like streaming? So BenStack dev / docker quick start. Is that the whole command? Okay, so then that'll run it. All right, and then it gives me a I don't know what the hell that is. Maybe like some sort of like checksum thing. So if we go to localhost 8080, should be alive, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so there's the container. Although I want to do docker ps just to make sure that's the only one running. Yeah, it is. Okay, good. So, all right. So now, use docker tag command to tag the Docker image. Docker tags allow you to label and version your images. Interesting. Okay, so we can do that. So let's do docker tag BenStack dev / docker quick start. And then what? Oh, and then give it a version, I see. And then we could do like, it's version 1.0 or whatever it is, right? Okay, and then we can docker push it. So this is very similar to Git, I guess, or GitHub. But Git, really. And then BenStack. So then now if we actually, wait, if we do docker ps, is that tagged properly? Or docker images? Oh yeah, I can see it. I can see here it's 1.0. That's pretty cool. And then we can do docker push BenStack dev / oh, I can't autocomplete it. Docker quick start 1.0. Push access denied. Ah, okay. So there's an authentication issue. What did I miss something up here? In the Docker GUI, click sign in. Oh, you know what it might be? I wonder if my, hold on. Oh, because I never signed in locally, I see. Okay, so I do have to sign in locally here. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, so open Docker. All right, so now I'm signed in under BenStack dev. Okay, so now I wonder whether that actually lets the command line work. Finally caught a stream. Nice. Awesome. That's awesome, Zero. Could you please switch to your terminal so we can see the process? Yeah, I'm on the terminal right now. How'd you? Yeah. Okay. So this is the terminal. You're looking at it right here. So. But no, that's I appreciate you catching the stream. Okay, so let's try and push it again now that I've logged in. Okay, so that did work. That did authenticate it. It looks like. Okay, nice. So I just need to log in on the host or on the desktop app. You can't see it really. Oh, interesting. Weird. I don't know why. Let me dig into that. Because you should be able to. Yeah, because I've got it here. Okay, thanks for letting me know. I did just switch over to OBS yesterday again, so that's weird. Because I've got the terminal like literally right here. Let me try maybe like refreshing the display. There we go. Oh. There we go. Now you should be able to see it. I don't know what happened there, guys. But no, I was... I apologize. Okay, there we go. Now you should be able to see the terminal. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I did not know you couldn't see it. It was on my screen. So, but now you should be able to see it. I just minimized it, and then if I bring it back up, okay, yeah, we're good. So, nice. All right. Now it should be on Docker Hub, right? So if I go back to it here, so there's my image, and then I should see it. Yeah, here it is. Nice. It says my OS is Linux. Interesting. Oh, or maybe I wonder if it's the image operating. I don't know, because it's Mac technically. Oh, sweet. Are you using Node.js? I have in the past. This is just I'm learning Docker this stream, so I'm not using Node.js right now. But this is an example project and I think the example project does use Node. I'm pretty sure. Like if I go to the repository for it, I think this is a Node project. Yes, it is. What am I using for note taking? Obsidian. Check out roadmap SH. If you follow that, you'll be able to get back dev job if you follow honestly and seriously. Interesting. I'll give that a look. Let's see. Maybe. This kind of just looks like a... See, if we go to like full stack. Okay, so then it just gives you like a basically like what to learn sort of thing. Yeah, it looks like kind of like an Odin Project idea, but it's more catered to just giving you a guide and you know, it's less project based. Or are there projects in here? Let me see. Or maybe there are. I don't know. Cool. But anyway, no, that's interesting. All right, I gotta be right back. Just real quick. I just gotta feed my cat. Actually, wait. I'll get to Yas's message here. I gotta take discrete math and some system hardware in the coming fall semester. Any advice? Discrete math is really difficult. So make sure you do a lot of practice problems. That was what helped me most when I was doing it. Also write a lot of proofs if you can. So get good at proofwriting. You know, learn your different proofwriting strategies or proving strategies, like whether it's proof by contradiction, proof by contrapositive, you know, proof by induction, these sorts of things, right? That's what I'd recommend. Yeah, I gotta go feed the cat. All right, so I'll be right back. I just wanted to get to that question before I go, so I didn't leave you hanging. So I'll be a BRB on this one. So. If you won't mind, can we see your cat? Yes, I did reveal him on an earlier stream, but I will show you him later, but he's eating right now. But yes, I will later. He doesn't love being held, but yeah, I'll bring him onto the stream for sure. Thankfully, feeding him was a lot faster because, what was I going to say? My girlfriend is out of town, and she left his food prepared in the fridge, so I just literally just had to dump it into his bowl. Orange cat, no, he's white. He's white and has a black tail. No, he's basically white all over. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, my girlfriend and I rescued a cat a little over a month ago. Yes, she left it. She left his food in the fridge with a cover on it, so I didn't have to, because he's got this like chicken meal that kind of, you gotta like mix it together and open up the can, and there's 2 different cans and you gotta like mix it. But anyway, so she prepared it for me. Yes, W indeed. So yeah. Let me just check how we're doing here. Okay. Cool. So I think this is like basically finished for this lesson. Then we're gonna get to Docker Compose. Keep going, mate. You're doing a good job. Appreciate that, Sadra. Thank you for the support. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, I was gonna check whether, okay, yeah, you can see stuff, okay. Now I'm gonna be like checking my OBS to make sure the things appear on the screen as they need to. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about these additional resources, I think. All right, so Docker Compose. So from my understanding, Docker Compose is kind of like a a set of instructions for building a container. It's like instructions for building a container based off of an image, I think. That's what I think it is. And then you use like the good old YAML stuff. Oh, and I guess you can use multiple containers too. Okay, so let's see. For now, you're wanting to do some more complicated run databases, message queries, caches. Do you install everything in a single container, run multiple? So each container should do one thing and do it well. So let me just write this. Containers should generally be restricted to performing one task and doing that task well. Just gonna put that there. Avoid the tendency to have one container do multiple things. Yes. Okay, so you can use multiple Docker run commands. Can do things like use multiple Docker run commands. However, with all necessary flags and whatnot, but this can get long and tedious. Docker Compose allows you to define all containers and their configurations in a single file. Anyone that closes your repository can get up and running with a single command. Nice. Yes. Compose is a declarative tool. You simply define it and go. Compose is declarative. Define the containers and their configs and run. Okay. I.e. you don't, let's see, you don't have to always recreate everything from scratch. You make a change, run docker compose up again, and the compose will reconcile the changes. Okay, yeah. So you don't always have to start from scratch. If you make a change to the compose file, run docker compose up, and the changes to your containers that you declared will be made, I guess. Sure. A Docker file provides the instructions to build a container image, while a compose file defines your running containers. Okay, so that's interesting. So that's an interesting distinction. Docker file versus compose file. So Docker file is instructions for building a container image, and a compose defines running containers, or how to run, I should say. Compose files can reference Docker files to build images. Okay. So that's pretty good. This hands-on, you'll learn how to use a Docker Compose to run a multi-container application. Your simple to-do list app built with Node.js and MySQL as a database server. Okay. So we already cloned it, and we can CD it into it and everything. Okay, then we Docker Compose up. Okay, so I think because we already have that file in here, right? So if I go out here and you can see the getting started to do app. So you just CD into that, and then we should see as well that there's a compose.yaml, right? So if we you can see the compose here. It's kind of explaining how everything works, which is cool. So you can see like the back end, and then like dependencies and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. Okay. Compose up, D, and then build. Two container images were downloaded from Docker Hub, Node, and MySQL. Network was created. I think I did a lot of that at the beginning when I first ran this. Two containers were started with all their necessary config. Volumes created. How do you learn to use the terminal? I'm just starting out, and it keeps it on the back of my mind. So I learned how to use the terminal. A lot of it was my degree. I'm not going to lie to you. That was one thing that my CS degree did teach me. We had an operating systems course where we learned Linux, the terminal, and C a little bit. But honestly, I think the most important thing is to get used to the very basic commands, like CD. CD it stands for change directory. So if I want to like go into, and there's a couple shorthands too. Like if I want to go up a file directory, I can do CD ... and then that'll go up from my getting started to do app file into just the Docker file, or folder, I should say. Or you could like CD into we could CD into a subfolder by naming it. And then there's also LS, which stands for list, and then that just basically like lists the file content. So like basic things like this, right? So I don't know. You get used to using these commands as you do, and I would like recommend Sung to kind of learn a couple. Like learn CD. I would say CD, LS, and like you could also do PWD, which stands for present working directory, which will like show you your current working directory, these sorts of things. Clear will like clear the terminal, these sorts of things. So learn like maybe like 5 or 6 commands, just play around in the terminal, just try and navigate, right? Kind of expand from there. And like you can even just Google like using bash, like bash tutorial or whatever, or like whatever terminal you use. You can't love learning terminal while being in Windows. That's also true. Using the terminal is a much better experience if you're on Mac or Linux for sure, because you can use Bash or Z Shell or these other sorts of things. Like if you just Google, like, let's see, learning the terminal, Let's just see what comes up here. Yeah, like free code camp has something, right? Command line. And then this would like this stuff here is like, this is like the basics, but this will get you started. I think this will get you up and running for sure, with enough to play around. Use bash. Yeah, bash is good. You can install WSL. Yeah, you can. I found that really clunky when I did that. How often do I visit my parents? Probably not as much as I should. But yeah, so okay. Although I will say I am visiting my family in August, and I'm gonna be gone for like 3 weeks. Don't worry, I'm gonna stream, but my stream setup will be kind of jank for those 3 weeks, because I'm not gonna have my usual setup. So I'm gonna bring my laptop with me, and I'll have a portable monitor. But I'm still gonna stream. It just might be a little janky for a couple weeks. But yes, I am in August. I'm going home to visit family. And it'll be the first time I'm going home since I moved in May, so that'll be nice. But anyway. But yeah, no, I probably visit my family a few times a year, I would say. All things considered. Yeah, so that's yeah. With everything up and running, you can open localhost 3000 in your browser. Okay, so then maybe it didn't run. Oh, you know what it is too? Docker PS. I think there are two things trying to, maybe not actually. I wonder if I need to do Docker stop, and then the 220E one, the quick start. I wonder if that's causing this not to work. We'll see. And then let's get back into it. So these are Docker PS. Yeah, so apparently this should be working, but it isn't. So that's interesting. Interesting. Note that the application may take 10 to 15. Oh, and you know what? I probably don't need to build it either. Okay, so it says they're running, but I don't know. It's not giving me anything. I feel like it maybe is exposed to the wrong port or something. Because we have 80, port 80 for this. But I think the idea was that you didn't have to run it based on a port. I think you could just, I don't know. I think that was my understanding from the last one anyway. The last time I used this. If you look into Docker desktop GUI, you can see the containers and dive deeper. Okay, so let's just look up the GUI here. See what we can see. All right, so we have the getting started to do. Yeah, so we can see what ports they're exposed on, right? This is kind of like running Docker PS, right? So we can see localhost 80. That's not really what we want. Client isn't really exposed on anything. These ones aren't running, which is what we want, right? So what if we just go to localhost? There it is. Okay, so we don't need the localhost 3000, so that does work. Okay. Cool. So this is our test to do. I did not build this to do for the record. This is just the example project. Okay, so now to tear it down. So then Docker compose down. So let's try that. Oh, then it'll just stop everything. That's easy. So let's try Docker compose up was we'll use the compose file to run start all and run all the containers based on the configuration given, and then Docker compose down will stop all running containers associated with the compose file. Cool. However, volumes, which kind of, from my understanding, are like external data sources that containers can use to reference things, like whether it's a database or whatever. So volumes are not automatically removed when tearing down a compose stack. If you do want to also remove volumes, add flag. Okay. Interesting. You learned how to use Docker Compose to start and stop. But see, okay, so it taught us how to use Docker Compose, but it didn't teach us how to write it, which we're going to come back to, I'd imagine. So, what's the node app I'm using, Lamb Chops? I'm using Obsidian. It's a free Markdown-based note-taking app. I would recommend it. I quite like it. Okay, so that should wrap up the basics, I think, right? So all this is pretty easy. Yeah, no worries, no worries. All this is pretty easy. All right, so let's go to building images. Understanding the image layers. Okay. So, as you learn in what is an image, container images are composed of layers, and each of these layers, once created, are immutable. Yes, we already wrote that down. Okay, so what does that actually mean? And how are those layers used to create the file system a container can use? Okay, so each layer in an image contains a set of file system changes. Okay, so that's kind of good to know. All right, we actually already have that here. Additions, deletions, or modifications. So we can say example. Layer 1 adds basic commands and a package manager. For example, brew or apt, which apt is used on, I think, Debian systems. Linux people, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think like Debian and Ubuntu use apt as a package manager. So like, what would that be? Like Debian, Ubuntu, Linux Mint. What are the other like Debian-based ones? I can't think of all of them off the top of my head. Anyway, so I guess package managers can be used inside of an image. That's pretty cool. Layer 2 installs Python example. Let's just say example image. Installs Python runtime and pip for dependency management. Layer 3 copies and apps specific requirements.txt file. Layer 4 installs apps dependencies as specified from layer 3. Layer 5 copies actual source code of the app. Okay. Okay, yeah, it was Debian. I was right. It's beneficial because it allows layers to be reused between images. Allows you to add to or extend existing images as well as reuse layers between images. That's pretty cool. For example, imagine you wanted to create another Python application. Due to layering, you can leverage the same Python base, which will make builds faster and reduce the amount of storage. Okay, so yeah, for example, with the example image, if we wanted to make another Python app, we could just use the first 2 layers of the example as a base, as a shared base, and build app 2, the new app, with its specific dependencies on top of that, right? It's kind of like this. So we have the Debian base, which has that package manager, right? And then Python with the Python environment and pip. And then, of course, these are 2 different Python apps. They have different requirements. So, of course, those requirements are going to be, different. So they're in 2 different, branches here, but they share that same runtime. So it's cool. Layers let you extend your images of others by reusing their base layers. Yeah. So let's see, layer stacking. Layering is made possible by content addressable storage and union file systems. Interesting. Content addressable storage is a very interesting. Let's look that up actually. Referred to as content address storage is a way to store information so it can be retrieved based on its context. Yo, how's it going, Sir Cats? Am I studying in college or just streaming and learning? Just streaming and learning, William. I finished computer science degree. I graduated last year. But as I say, and as I've said multiple times before, it didn't teach me these kinds of skills like Docker, web development, So I'm kind of taking it upon myself to learn that on stream. Thank you so much. Yes, Docker. I have never, I've been programming for 3 years, guys, and not once did I use Docker, but I'm learning how to use it because I'm going to be building a clone of Google Drive, essentially, from the Odin Project, and I want to containerize the database that I use for this. It's called the file uploader, but it's essentially like a cloned. It's just a stripped down version of Google Drive, but that's the project I'm going to be starting next stream. But I'm learning a bit of Docker to, get before I dive into this. So yeah. Is one of my websites very, very good if you want learning? Code Signal. One website is very, very good if you want learning. Yeah, that's cool. I've never heard of it actually. Let's look it up. Code Signal. AI native skills. So this is cool if you want like AI stuff, right? Personally, that's not really me. I like to learn manually, but if you're an AI driven learner, then this looks pretty cool. I know where you're coming from. Want me to jump in a call to give you some tips, full stack engineer? I don't really take calls on stream, to be honest, but if you want to like join the Discord and chat and even shoot me like a friend request or something, I'd really appreciate that. But no, I don't generally do live collabs on stream. So yeah, and the reasoning for that is because if I did, then I'm setting a precedent for anybody, right? And I don't want to set a precedent for anybody, because if I just did live collabs willy-nilly, then everyone, not everybody, but a lot of people would expect me to do that, and that's not really something I want to. It's not really a I don't want to overpromise, right? So yeah, that's basically the reasoning. This live is about, it's literally like learning Docker. That's kind of that's the goal. Just getting started with it, really. Just kind of getting started so that I can use it inside of a full stack application, use it inside of developing a full stack application. Because up to this point, I haven't really been containerizing anything, and it was kind of pointed out to me kindly by some viewers that I probably should learn that, so I'm doing it. So yeah. Type learn course paths. I will after stream, Sir Cats. I've been using Obsidian tasks. I noticed you use something different for your to-dos, which I like. Are you using Obsidian Cardboard plugin? I am using the Kanban board plugin. So if I go to my community plugins, it's this Kanban one by Obsidian Community. It's just literally just called Kanban. So that's what I use for my to-dos. Codex. What's my background in IT? Basically, 2 years ago, I got a internship. Yeah, no worries, Codex. I got an internship working in IT. I was doing help desk. And a year later, a little less than a year later, I got a return offer, and I've been there ever since. That's the TLDR. So I've been working in IT for, I guess you could say, a year and a half, if you include the internship. Create your first container right now with the tool service you're going to need, want to learn, do a simple project with that container. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've just kind of been going through the getting started docs just as an initial foray. And then after that, I'm going to create a, I'm going to define an image for a database, which I'm going to use for the project. That's the goal. I'm going to be containerizing a Postgres database to use for that Google Drive project. And then as things continue, I might start containerizing like, you know, the front end, the back end, these sorts of things. I kind of want to take it one step at a time and ease into things. Because again, I'm not really developing for anything right now. I'm still in the learning phase. So I'm not really concerned about making things like, you know, super by the books, at least right off the bat. Because I feel like doing that's kind of overwhelming a little bit, and will kind of, you know, so that's just my kind of approach. Because again, I literally, 6 months ago, all I knew was basic HTML, CSS. I knew nothing about DevOps. I knew nothing about back-end development. I knew nothing about really like any sort of like full stack, front end, anything. Like I knew nothing. I knew CS theory, but that was about it. I knew a bit of Python and C, but that was all I was working off of. In my full stack, I'm trying to be. I'm learning Next.js right now, so you're not far apart from one another. Wish you nothing but the best of your goals. I enjoy watching you break it down. I appreciate that, Codex. Thanks, thanks for the support. And if you do want to see more, I would really, really appreciate if you subscribe. That'd be fantastic. But you don't have to. You know, I go live 5 days a week if that interests you. If you know, following along is something, yeah, that you're interested in, I guess. Okay, so let's take another break. I'm just kind of, you know. I'm kind of, we've gotten a lot of chat activity this stream, which is fantastic, but what was I going to say? I tend to use the Pomodoro where I like work for 25 minutes and then I take a 5-minute break, but I kind of just use that more so to just chunk up the stream and force myself to take breaks if I'm really stuck on something. So that's kind of what that's for. Yeah, back end is future. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think knowing full stack is good. Because then you have versatility. You kind of have both, but yeah. I'll hit the bell too. The style content is nice when I code too, like co-work type thing. Yeah, exactly. That's literally, Codex. That's why I started doing this, because I wanted to, like, during my degree, full transparency, I wanted to learn web dev while I was in my degree, but there were two things holding me back. One was the homework, which I couldn't really, you know, prevent. But the other thing was I just couldn't like motivate myself to work, right? Part of that was because I was already working on like assignments and these sorts of things, but like I had no one to hold me accountable, and I was like, you know, so I graduated, and then like 6 months later, I'm like, shit, I haven't like used my programming knowledge. So then January I started streaming just as a way to keep myself accountable. Full stack's my goal. Nice. It's mine as well. Among other things, just being a well-rounded developer, I think, is my goal, just broadly speaking. But I want to learn full stack as well. But yeah, no, so I just started streaming to nobody. Like, when I tell you, like, for the first 3 weeks to a month of streaming, I had under 10 subscribers, and I was streaming to nobody. So, like, it doesn't even effing matter, you know? Like, it was just to hold myself accountable, and this is where I've gotten to. So, might have to take a note from your book. I have 0 dev friends. Seeing you stream while I learn is a good idea to keep accountability, consistency, and finding some homies. Yeah, exactly. And if you want to, like, I also, like, if you want to connect on Discord, too, I have a Discord community with over 270 members. that have joined over the months. So you can maybe meet some other friends in there too, and we're all kind of in the same boat together. So, and the other great thing about that is there's folks from multiple different skill levels, right? From very, very beginner, right, to like, there's a guy in my Discord who's like he's got like 20 years of experience, right? Like there's people all over the map in there, which is really cool. So, utilize that resource if you wish. Full stack plus AI is going to be king, honestly. I've accelerated my learning experience by leveraging AI in my Obsidian vaults, and I tailored the knowledge and basically tips. That's fair, William. Yeah, I get that. I could certainly see myself doing that in the future, especially as my understanding of the basics improves, and B, AI improves. But honestly, as of right now, like I'm happy just doing things on my own at my own pace. Because I've always learned this way. AI came out when I was like, how old was I? Like I basically had finished an entire degree by the time, ChatGPT was released, right? So I went through all of high school and one university degree without it. So I'm just kind of used to not using it. But I agree that it is something that is important to learn. I'm a massive Python nut for the past 2 years, shifting to web dev because I moved to kind of a remote area, big interest in modern web apps out here, so I want to deliver. Nice. Dude, I'm kind of jealous actually of you of you living in a remote area. I live in a city, and it's like I'm not a city person. But I had to move to the city for I moved in with my girlfriend 2 months ago, and we're trying to build a life together. So unfortunately, that's kind of what has to come from that, but no, I envy you. What framework front end do you want to learn in the future? So right now I'm using React, but I'd love to learn like Vue. I've heard Vue is good. People have said good things about Vue and Svelte as well. I want to just try out. Why no AI? Personal preference, mainly. That's the main reason. I chose a slightly challenging broadcast. My focus is on C++ embedded systems. Damn, that is challenging. I haven't touched C++ ever. I did a bit of C in my degree. I did an operating systems course, where we did some C programming, like with making some syscalls and stuff like that. But it was nothing insane. Work in the city, live in the rural area. Yeah, that's the goal eventually for me too. But unfortunately, for now, I gotta live in the city. Although my job is remote. I just subbed and liked because of no AI. Nice, Dalibor. Yeah, because I find like. Here's the thing with AI too, is like, okay, AI is one thing, guys, but like the community surrounding AI, I find really toxic. You can take AI out, and like AI is what it is, but the community around it is, I find really toxic, or it can be. C++ embedded systems are where the cool things are made. Always wanted to do it, never could get into it myself. Maybe one day we can, Codex. Maybe one day. But I hear you, man. I hear you. Where am I from? I'm from Canada. You can actually, if you guys are curious, like I know there's probably a lot of new people in chat. If you want to read my FAQ, I have a little FAQ here. Kind of like goes over my the basics of who I am, why I stream, a bit of my background, why I don't use AI, these sorts of things. The community regarding AI is basically people shitposting on LinkedIn and building nothing. Yeah, exactly. Or they're vibe coding, right? And it's like, okay, you can vibe code, but then like you get so much cognitive debt and confusion surrounding the project that like at a certain point it has to implode, right? Like I don't know, and I don't think AI is there yet to fully pilot a project without the human in the loop. Sure, it can replace like 90% of the coding, but as long as you do the code reviews and you do the project architecting and all of these sorts of things, like I think that those skills are still really necessary. But that's just my 2 cents. We went from city folk, had 3 kids, and when we turned 30, we bought land and moved out to the woods. Dude, that is like the dream, honestly. Yo, how's it going, Jeremy? Long time no see. I'm only 25, and like that is like exactly what I want to do. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I mean, I live in Canada, but like the idea of like buying land and just like building a home in the woods is like totally like up my alley for sure. I also grew up in a rural area, so true. You got to do reviews and changes manually, otherwise it's very bad. Yeah, I agree, 100%, Dalibor. But yeah, no, I'm still young, I suppose. Could be you in 3 to 5 years. That's the goal. That's the goal. By the time I'm 30, we'll see. I'll be 30 in 4 and a bit years, so. Time's ticking, I guess, but we'll get there. We'll get there. What happened so far on my journey? I don't remember where you last left off, Jeremy, but right now I'm learning Docker to make a basic Google Drive clone to containerize the database for that. So that's where I'm at right now. Now people go to Rust, not C++. Problem memory management, yeah. Like tech moves forward, the more I want a homestead. Love tech, but love the woods. Me too. I totally hear you. I like tech because it's like a puzzle, right? Like I don't like tech because of like the money or the prestige or any of these things. I just like it because like it gives me joy, honestly. Like learning these things and solving problems with code and logically, like it just kind of makes me happy. So last time I was here was like almost day 100. Got you. Okay. Yeah, we've made some strides since then. Um, Basically, I tried to do the file uploader app with a full stack framework, failed, and then built my own stack, which is called BenStack, coincidentally. And then so I used BenStack to create a little to-do app to test it, and then now I'm learning Docker. So that's kind of a TLDR on the last 30 days. All right, so let's get back into this here. But I really appreciate all the support on the stream, guys. Like chat's kind of been popping. You can just build stuff. I like the journey. I like the problem solving. I'm kind of a big fan of learning. Yeah, exactly. What was my first stream like? Nervous? Oh yeah. Go back to my first stream. I was like totally nervous. I don't think I really got into like the swing of streaming until probably around, I want to say like day 30, 40, something like that. Like it took a while. It took like a month or two for me to really get fully comfortable. Making things appear from the air is so nuts. Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I can never get enough, really. And then like the streaming and also having the community that I do now is really kind of made me happy. So thank you all for that. We're gonna have to skip the next scheduled break. Yeah, exactly. Again, I use it. Let me phrase. I use the focus time not only to work but also to chat with chat, and chat's been pretty active today. So I don't mind like doing both. Because again, I do a lot. I've been doing more and more of like the lock-in stuff off stream, and then kind of using stream to like work a bit, but also talk to you guys. It's kind of a balance, right? I just the focus time. I get it. Yeah. I remember your first streaming compared to now. Much different aura. Yeah. Exactly. Definitely much different aura because I wasn't used to it, man. I'd never streamed before. But anyway, no. I just kind of. I also do Pomodoro on my own time too when I code on my own time. But it used to be that I did like probably like 90% of the work of my work on these projects on stream. Now it's probably closer to 50%, I would say. I do 50% of my project work on stream and then 50% off stream, just because otherwise I'd never be making any progress. Because my community's grown and I'm really happy about that. But makes it harder sometimes. Yo, how's it going, Tyler? Hell, Ben and Chatters. People underestimate how good the small break time. Yeah, exactly. It totally is, especially when you're like locked in. You got to like take that step back. It's like a cognitive reset. All right, so let's do stacking the layers. Layering is made possible by content addressable storage. Yes, that's what we were looking into. Way to store information so it can be treated based on its content, not its name or location. So, okay, that's just kind of interesting. Content-based storage. Data retrieved based on content and not path or location. That's kind of interesting. Content addressable. And union file systems. I don't really know what that is either. Let's see. Union file system. File system service, which implements a union mount. I don't know if that's exactly the same thing. How Docker images work. Allows files and directories of separate file systems. Something like that. Okay, so I'll add this as well to my other resources here. Just to look at, or maybe off stream a bit. I hit enter before the O key. I typed too fast. Yeah, I feel that. Dude, sometimes like I make like really dumb typos like that at work, like in Teams and whatnot, and it's kind of brutal. But at the same time, like my boss like kind of swears too sometimes, so it doesn't really matter. But I feel you. Sometimes at work I'll like, or even like, or the worst is when I like make a typo when I'm writing an email to like a different department. It's happened a couple times. You know, typical work moment, right? All right, let's see. So, all right, so this is, let's actually like enter these. So layer stacking utilizes after each layer is downloaded, it's extracted into its own directory on the file system, and then when running a container in an image, a union fs is created where layers are stacked, thus creating a new unified view. I don't know what they mean by view here. I would assume like just multiplicity of file systems maybe, or a plurality, something like that. Who knows chroot for Arch Linux? Is that not just like to like go to the root shell? Or is it to execute something under root? I forget. No, that's sudo. I think that's just to go to the root shell or something, isn't it? The container starts its root directory set to the location of this unified directory using chroot. Yeah, okay. Okay, so it changes the root. What is chroot? I'm rusty, guys. But you bring up a good point. Shell command changes the apparent root directory. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Okay, so that's not entirely what I thought initially, but I thought, okay, so that's sudo is to run something under root privileges, and then yeah, changes the apparent root directory. Okay, very cool. And the union file system is created in addition to the image layers. A directory is created and specifically for running the container. The container root directory is then set to that of the unified root directory with chroot. Okay, cool. Just see if you don't like the course. Tell me which course were we talking about. I'm sorry. It's been a lot of chat messages tonight. When the union file system is created, in addition to the image layers, a directory is created. Okay, I see. A directory is created specifically for the running container. I think I already put that in here, right? Yes, this allows the container to make file system changes while allowing the original image layers to remain untouched. Allows container to make file system changes, but while leaving original image layers untouched. I think that's what that is, right? This enables you to run multiple containers from the same underlying image. Yes. Cool. It's what's used to change if you need to perform system maintenance. You can root privilege a noob system. if precautions are taken when installing new Linux system. Ah, I see. Okay. Got you. Yo, how's it going, Casey? Long time no see, my friend. What's the note taker app I'm using? I am using Obsidian. It's a free and open source, or I don't know if it's open source. Is it open source? It's definitely free. It's free markdown based note taking app. So on top of the underlying image, each container could be thought of as an instance of that image. Ah, okay. Got you. See, I was thinking on top of just because of this diagram here. Thank you for that clarification. With the, wait, does it say on top of here? Oh, from the same. Ah. So it's like as a template, kind of. Something like this. Yeah, thanks for the clarification. I was thinking about it in this kind of way. Got you. Yeah, okay, so we got that. In the hands-on guide, you'll create a new image layers manually using the docker container commit command. Did I finish the Node app? I did innovation. It's on GitHub. I didn't deploy it, but it's done. Yeah. So I'm just doing a quick side tangent stream to do a bit of Docker. So wait until you get to Kubernetes. I made a home lab just to learn about 5x F715Q to create a little cluster. Yeah, I went to school with a kid, absolutely brilliant guy, by the way, and he had a Kubernetes cluster at his house, and he was telling me a little bit about it, but at that time I had no fucking idea what he was talking about. Must have felt good. Oh yeah, it felt great. We finished it on Tuesday, I guess, because I took 2 days off. I was going to stream yesterday, but Streamlabs, yeah, it was Streamlabs. Absolutely shit the bed on my computer. So I switched back to OBS, and things are looking up, so we're good. OBS literally, like, I'm not kidding you guys. Streamlabs took up 3 gigabytes of RAM when running and streaming. OBS takes up like half a gigabyte. Like, it's like a sixth of the memory consumption. I don't know why. Like, because I know Streamlabs is like built on top of OBS, but it's like ridiculous. So OBS is way lighter weight, and like now my computer doesn't like have to like do because I know when RAM runs out, it uses the SSD kind of as a swap, right? Always stick to OBS, the industry standard and open source. Yeah, the thing with Streamlabs, the reason I was using it was because it had the built-in chat integration, but then I just figured out how to do it, you know, without Streamlabs. I basically spent 2 hours tinkering with chat overlays earlier today. But yes, I'm back to OBS. Sounds like Electron? Probably. Woohoo subs? Wait, did someone subscribe? I didn't see it. Like membership. Because yes, membership. If that's what you're talking about, Casey. Streamlabs is really bad. I tried when streaming PUBG and it's overkill. Honestly, Streamlabs is built on Electron. That's what it is. Because literally, I shit you not, to turn the thing on or to open the fucking app took 30 seconds to load. But OBS is like under a second to boot. Like, it's insane. Yeah, so I'm back to OBS now. I'm happy to report. So why ain't my membership showing up? I don't know. It should. It should. I still have some debugging to do, but I did add an alert. That's really weird. I don't know. I'll look into it on the break. Casey, don't worry about that. I still have some debugging to do. Look up Soding's video on putting chat from live streams into closed captioning in the VODs. Got you. OBS is king. What's my GitHub? I got you. There should usually, like most things, like I have a command for it as well. But that's my GitHub there. And I use a little app to show notifications to stream, and it worked perfectly. Nice. Yeah, I'm using no, you're good. I'm using what is it called? I'm literally just using the default yeah, no worries. I'm using the default YouTube chat, and then I basically found a site to generate What was it called again? Was it like Chat V2, I think? Not Chat. Chat. Not Cat V2. This is what it was. I used this to generate CSS styles for it. I found this on from Reddit. So I used this earlier today, and I was playing around with it to generate the styles. But no, that's really weird that the membership isn't showing up. But I don't know. I blame YouTube on that one, to be honest. Okay, so let's stop screwing around here. Okay, so you'll create a new image layers manually using the Docker container commit command. Note that you'll be rarely creating images this way as you normally use a Docker file, but it makes it easier to understand how it's all working. Okay, cool. Oh, there we go. Yep, now you can see it. Perfect. I don't know if it's gonna, I have alerts technically. Oh wait, maybe not. Actually, never mind. The alerts, I disabled them because they broke. But next stream, I'll get alerts in here. But there we go. Thank you so much, Casey, for getting membership. You are the, I believe, the third member now. So congratulations. But no, yeah, I unlocked memberships. So for anybody who isn't aware, yeah, the idea is I'm going to do members only streams starting soon. Yeah. I've been in Egypt. That's why I haven't been on live. Paid $1,200 for a decent one today in Egypt, but I have to install an OS on it tomorrow. Oh, for laptop. Got you. Oh, interesting. So you're just in vacation. That's awesome. Egypt that's a really cool place. I've never been, but I'd love to go someday. Docker team is bullshitting you right there. It's easier to use YAML files, Docker file to build an app image. No, that's fair. I think for this, it's not. It says right here, like, note that you'll rarely create images this way. But I think for the purposes of kind of granularizing the process, so to speak, I think this is worth following. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not. Okay, but next stream, I'm also gonna get. I'm kind of like scatterbrained a little bit, but next stream I'm gonna get super chat and membership alerts working. Okay, because I meant to do that this stream, but I forgot I disabled them. Okay, so run the following command to start a new container. So let's go back to the root, the Docker under my web projects. Okay, so let's do this then. So TI. Let's go to Docker run flags again. I want to see what the TI, so what's T? Oh, TTY, I see. And then I is what? Initialize? Oh no, interactive. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Went to the pyramids and stuff. It was sick. Yeah, that's awesome. Learning by doing mistakes. It's the best way. Who hasn't messed up a little loop conditioner and like list logic? That's normal. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Dude, if you watch my previous streams, literally, William, like I spent, or I can just call you Will too. I don't know what you prefer. I spent literally 5 streams. I think it was probably about 5 streams learning, trying to build this Google Drive clone in, I think it was React Router v7. Yeah, it was React Router v7. But it got like kind of over my head. And I literally was like, okay, I got to pivot. I got to quit this project, and then I'm gonna circle back, to use corporate lingo, circle back, take a step back, and I basically built my own stack from scratch to kind of understand what each layer was doing, like the front end, the back end, the database, the ORM, these sorts of things, and then and like learn incrementally and by doing making mistakes and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I'm totally with that. So I'm assuming Ubuntu is just like a base, like exists inside of like the Docker hub or whatever, right? Like if I go to Ubuntu, this probably is a thing, right? Yeah, there it is. Very cool. Okay, so Docker run name base container. So this is like the first layer, I would assume. And then TI, which I'm assuming this opens like a terminal, and then in an interactive terminal, I guess. I don't know. So what does this interactive mode even mean? Let's see. Oh, keep standard in open. Okay. All right. So that means you can write commands. That's good. All right. So let's do this. And then it's going to put us inside of the Okay, so now we're inside of this Ubuntu thing, this image, right? Inside of the container, run the following commands to install Node.js. And then this is under, I would assume, root, right? Like we're under root permissions in this container. If you're writing, the computer video is frozen. Let's refresh that. Hold on. Camera's fine. Okay, let me refresh it. Hold on. There you go. We're good. Sometimes that happens. I don't know what's going on with that. But I just started. I basically just ran this command here. Yeah, that's a weird OBS glitch that I need to work out. So whenever I minimize the terminal and then bring it back up, like after a while, it seems to not want to capture. That happened earlier in the stream, actually. All right, but you should be able to see this now. And apt install Node.js. Okay. Very cool. And then so validate. I mean, this should work, right? Cool. Can I like execute something? Editor, exit. Okay, so if we do node e console.log hello world. Maybe I need to use different quotes here, actually. All right, so it does work. Very good. And then now that you have Node installed, you're ready to save the changes you've made as a new image layer. Okay, so this is kind of like, so like saving layers is like commits. Saving layers is done by performing, if I could type, commits, i.e. Docker, what was it? Docker, it wasn't Docker Compose, Docker container, right? Docker container commit, and then like a message. And then base container. And then I would assume that's the name of the container. Or is this the, and then like the layers, maybe. Something like that. I think that's right, because our base container was here. And then we're giving this commit a name of node base, right? Or is that the name of the container itself? I don't know. We'll find out. Oh wait, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, can we still see? Yeah. Okay, we can still see the terminal. So let's do that. Docker container commit add node base container node base. That's what it was, right? Oh, I need to wait a second. For which you start new containers to build new images. To do so, you will use in a new terminal, right? Because I'm still inside of the Ubuntu terminal, right? So I could probably just quit this. No, like, can I do a Control C or Control D maybe? Yeah. Okay, so maybe that's not what we want. Okay, so let's do the Docker container commit add node. Okay, so now this should work, right? Nice. And then Docker image history node base. Oh, so this is our, I see. So this is our, the name of it is node base here. Where's the add node? Here it is. There's our comment. Base container. And then, is this an image name? Yeah, image name. Something like this. Cool. Run that outside. Yeah. Got that. I was it took me a second to figure that out, but I got there. Because yeah, obviously the container wouldn't have Docker installed, right? Because the container is like, I mean, it's not a VM, but you know, it wouldn't have. It's just got the basic Ubuntu stuff, right? Like, I mean, with Ubuntu image, does it like have a kernel? Like, what does it do, or does it share the kernel of the? Like, I'm not sure how like a container of an operating system works exactly. Like, does this have its own kernel? I don't know. It's a Debian-based Linux operating system that runs from the desktop. Okay, so but then, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would imagine it's like a VM kind of like it's a container, but it's also it's not really kernel per se. Have you seen how resources are shared with Docker containers with the OS? Not in detail. Not in detail. I'm not gonna lie. So then, would this be using all of the tooling that sits on top of all the tooling that's part of Ubuntu minus the Linux kernel, and then it kind of utilizes the Mac OS, like, you know, the kernel of my computer to interact with these kind of like, whether it's the GNU stuff or whatever like software sitting on top of, or like running on top of Ubuntu. I don't know. Distros are entirely user space. Yeah, that's what okay. Containers are basically isolated processes. Yeah, I understand that part. Running it in your host kernel. Containers are basically Docker's a fancy way of Linux namespacing. Okay, so kind of like it doesn't then, I don't know, it doesn't like sit on top then. It kind of like utilizes the operating system underneath, or like, I don't know. It's not really virtualized entirely, but it's kind of like, it's almost like when you make like syscalls or something. Like there's some sort of like, it's like the Linux, like the distro thinks it's talking to the Linux kernel, but it isn't. It's talking to the obviously the kernel of my machine, something like that maybe. The image is built from the official root fs tarballs. What the hell is a tarball? I know it's a file, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking at entirely. I know this is like the whatever it is, the image inside of a repository, but check that image. Is this is the image, right, of the Ubuntu image? I would assume this is the image. Yeah, so you've got like tree. Okay, there's nothing in tree. In the chat, I left a link. Oh, wait a sec. Which chat? Because you can't post links in the YouTube chat, unfortunately. Unless you posted it somewhere different. But yeah, no, YouTube chat, you can't. Can't do links. That's a YouTube thing. That's not even a me thing. Check Discord. Ah, got you. Where in the Discord? Oh, I see. DM requests. Got you. Cool. Containers versus VMs. I'll accept your request here. So let's see. So let's bring this image up on the my main screen here. distributed downloads. Okay. I appreciate you sharing that. What's happening? Currently learning about Docker, SpyEye. That's what's happening. All right, so this was shared by Will in chat, I think. So, all right, so we've got containers. So this is a virtual machine. So we have like the guest operating system, and then there's this like hypervisor, which I would assume kind of translates between the kernel of the virtual machine and the hosts, right? Whereas with the container, all of the apps, I see, they all sit on top of the host. There's no actual kernel, right? And I would assume that's what this guest OS is. It's like the kernel. Okay, so that makes sense. Cool. What's my biggest project? My biggest project to date, probably. I mean, I have a bunch of projects that I've done that have been kind of big. But the biggest I've done, or my most recent project, was I built an entire full stack to-do app using my own stack, nullsec. But if you want to see the projects I've built, you can check out my GitHub here. The hypervisor is what manages the VMs and distributes the hardware resources. Yeah. I got that. That was what I understood from that. Kind of like is the translator between the like virtualized kernel and then like the actual like metal kernel, right? Or like operating system, I guess you could say. Because I know an operating system is more than just that. But anyway, okay, let's continue. So that makes sense. You're building an OS in C and assembly. That's freaking ambitious. Best of luck to you. I'm at 12K lines. That's awesome. That's super cool. Maybe someday I could get to that point. I don't know. That's my understanding. Innovation. Yeah, I've kind of I think the main confusion for me up to this point is how you can have like an operating system like Ubuntu be a container, right? That's the thing that's confusing for me, I guess, a little bit. Whether, I guess it's just like all of the tooling of Ubuntu, like all of the user-facing stuff that isn't the Linux like operating system stuff underneath. That's what I'm assuming this is, right? And kind of running those all as like a container or like a process, right? Because of the tools developed by Docker, not Ubuntu. Got you. Key part is that the distributions are entirely user space. Yeah. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm understanding. Coming to understand now. Right, because that's why it's like the kernel is Linux, and then you have like, you know, your Debian, your Ubuntu, your whatever Arch Linux on top of it. That makes sense. I'm learning. See, this is kind of a Linux stream, kind of. Not really, actually. But Docker, my first experience with it when I was decided to run free code camp on my machine. I didn't know anything about programming at the time, and it took me 2 sleepless nights of trial and error. Yeah, Fahad, it's kind of I'm getting there. It's just kind of it's kind of a bit of a learning curve. How does Docker schedule itself against Mac OS? No idea. Like, what do you mean by like in the sense of like as its own process? I guess because like if I go into activity monitor, let's see, is it its own thing? And then do like the running containers sit underneath it? Like I don't even know. Yeah, Docker desktop, and then I have like underneath it, I've got like, I don't know. Is that rain in the background? Yeah, it's just a rain it's just a rain video here. I can actually send you the link to the video if you'd like. Docker desktop is the GUI app, yeah. But okay, so Docker's the engine. I see. Okay. Yeah, it's ASMR for the stream, guys. Okay, so if I go into like activity monitor here, I don't want to like show it on stream just because reasons, in case there's anything on here. So I have Docker desktop running, which obviously is going to take up more resources. Like Docker desktop's taking up 106 megabytes, but Docker itself is only taking 80 megabytes. Okay, I see now. Cool. It's actually calming. I love the rain. Yeah, and I use the same video every time because I had it's funny because I was using way back before, I don't even know, like long time ago, like probably stream like 20 something. I was using a flowing river sound, right? It was like a flowing river, and I thought it was relaxing. But then somebody ruined it by making a very inappropriate joke about what it sounded like. And that was the first hate comment I ever got. I had like 30 subscribers. Some idiot came in the chat and told me, it said something very rude, and I was like, "Okay, all right, A, you're banned. B, I'm never using that audio again." And then I've used this rain sound ever since then. So the little fun fact, I was trying to vary it, and the other thing is I was using very early, like the first couple streams, I was using lo-fi, like copyright-free lo-fi, but I found it too distracting. Yeah. Someone came in and made like a stupid comment, and I was like, "Hey, all right, you're banned, and I'm never doing that again." Do I always do 2 hour streams? Yeah, I tend to do 2.5 hour streams. Sometimes 3 hours if I have time and all, but usually I do 5 Pomodoro, like half an hour sessions. Even though, again, it's like I work, but it's mostly just to chunk the stream just so I can kind of time it for my own time management. But yeah, usually 2.5 is kind of the sweet spot that I found. In your macros, app, Docker CLI socket, Docker D, container D, real kernel. Got you. So wait, so is it a Linux VM then, or no? I'm glad that you're growing the channel. Yeah, well, I appreciate it. I'm trying my best, Noel. I try to stream 5 days a week and grow it, and I really do enjoy it too. Do you work anything? Yeah, I work in IT actually. No, I know it's not a VM, but then why like Linux VM? Like why is Linux VM in brackets? Docker desktop is pure Electron slop. Well, no, I'm learning the CLI. I downloaded the Docker desktop just to have, but I am using the CLI. Oh, and Windows WSL uses Hyper-V and macOS uses Linux VM. Oh, Docker itself uses a Linux VM. I see. Okay. That makes sense. I see. Okay. That checks out. Okay. Spy Eye says, "What do you think you'll make after learning web development as projects? What will you learn after completing your goals?" Honestly, I'm not entirely sure, and I want to eventually get into like some lower level stuff, like whether it's C or like even C++, I don't know. But ultimately I want it to be community driven. And also I just launched memberships where kind of members will have like priority. The idea is that members will have priority in suggesting topics for me to learn and stuff like that. We need to do a hackathon? Yeah, totally. And I was also, the other thing for members is like doing like project reviews and stuff like that. Yeah. That would be fun. Maybe. I don't know if I have the amount of, the right amount of moderators for that yet, but yeah, sometime for sure. I'm so ready for the low level streams. Yeah, they're coming. I think I'm going to pilot test them with the members first, innovation. And then if I like it, then I'm going to do general streams, like low level general streams. But I'm generally going to use, the idea is I'm going to use the members as like kind of like testing as well as like special streams. Does it spawn one per container? Does it schedule each container against a single virtualized kernel? That was my understanding based on what Will said. Was it kind of has like the Docker CLI has it kind of runs all of the apps on top of the single one, but I could be wrong there. Yeah, exactly. You're the guinea pigs. Among other things too, of course. Cool. But yeah, no, I think a hackathon would be really cool. Yeah, maybe we could do like a subscriber goal. You know, like if I hit 5,000 subscribers, maybe 5,000 is a little ambitious, but like 3,000 subscribers, we'll do a hackathon. Sure, on a Linux native machine that makes sense to me, but there has to be translation if you're running against Mac OS. Yeah, that's fair. I guess that's what the is that what the container D does? I don't know. I don't know. You guys are above me a little bit here. All right, so let's prove that the image has node installed. Okay, Docker run node base, which is the name of the image, and then we just execute the same thing. So console.log, the image has node installed. Yay, it worked. Now that you're done creating the image, you can remove the container. Oh, because node base is the image, and then base container is the container. Ah, okay, that makes sense. So Docker rm base container, which I'm assuming will just like stop it and kill it, right? Base image definition. Okay, so I'm gonna write that down too. So let's see, Docker rm base image foundation for building other images. Docker has its own tools for Windows, Mac, and Linux. I'm in my gaming rig without WSL. Going to install it. Oh, so you're using Windows on the gaming rig? Nice. I actually just switched my gaming rig to Linux not too long ago, a couple months ago, because I was sick of it. Because I use the other reason too is I use my job. I work in IT, and we use we're embedded in the Microsoft ecosystem, and I use Windows enough 8 hours a day, and I don't want to deal with it more on my own machine. But yeah, no, my work machine has to be Windows, obviously. So anyway, all right, so foundation for building other images. Possible to use any image as a base. However, some are intentionally meant to be base images. As base you could use for other builds. You've been so happy using Linux as a daily driver? Yeah, I quite like it. I quite like. I use Fedora on my gaming rig, and I like it because I don't play anything super intensive. Yeah. And then for my work stuff and like not work stuff, but like for anything stream related or programming, I use just my MacBook, which I'm happy with. So, because I am an Apple sucker, unfortunately. Okay. Although I do not have the AirPod Pro Maxes because those are too expensive. So, I have these old Bose headphones that I've had for like 4 years that are kind of broken. Actually, the Bluetooth on them completely does not work anymore. It needs a wire. All right, building an app image. Okay. This I need to check whether it's, okay, so that's still working. Let's clear the terminal. Now that you have a base image, you can extend the image to build additional images. So we can start a new container using the newly created node base image. So Docker run name container test or node base container, I'm going to call it. So now you have this. And inside of this container, run the following command to create a node program. Okay, so echo console.log hello from my node app. And then this is sending standard out to app.js. It's writing it to that file. I remember this from my Linux class or operating systems class. Okay. However, that won't work because I need the apostrophe there. Cool. So now if I cat app.js, then that should run. And then if we node app.js, that should run as well. Very cool. You've used WSL for programming for a long while. It's been good. Yeah. You know what's interesting is they recommended us to use WSL in our operating systems course, but I instead just got on a Linux VM because I didn't want to screw with it. Because that was back when I had a Windows laptop, Windows subsystem for Linux, JMac. It's like basically like a Linux thing on top of Windows. Allows you to use like Bash and stuff inside of a Linux environment on Windows, I think. Darwin doesn't expose Unix apps used by Docker. Ah, I see. Okay, that makes sense. That's crazy considering WSL is easier to set up than VM. I don't know. I just didn't like the. It seemed like, I know, it's because I liked the environment separated. WSL to me felt too like abstract at the time, at least. I don't know. So and plus I was like new to Linux, right? I was like, if I'm gonna use Linux, I want to use like the proper VM experience, you know. That's kind of like, you know, what my thinking for that was, right? So, all right. So Docker container commit, and then cmd node app.js. Oh, and then this is a command. Okay, so this is interesting. So does this actually make this as a command? So we can use -c to define a command. That's cool. Yo, how's it going, Pieman? Or is it Pieman? You love bat? Bat cat? Oh, got you. Okay, cool. So that's like cat, but better. You haven't used Windows in a long time. Alas, bat, got you. Cool. All right, so you can define a command here. I don't know why you need this in the front, but sure. Add app, add test app, we'll say. App container. Oh wait, no, that's not what I called it. I called it node. What did I call the container? I called it like node base container. And then sample app. Right? And then now we have the sample app layer, which then has the node base layer on top of it, which then has the Ubuntu on the bottom, right? And then if we Docker run that, hey, that's pretty cool. And then we can remove the actual container. Nice. Arch distro or Arch? You are an Arch user, I understand. JMac. Very cool. Yeah, I'm happy with Fedora. I quite like it. Only because I don't know. It's kind of like a mix, right? Like you got like the more of a rolling release, not really rolling release, but you get early packages earlier, but you also aren't, you know, it's not the complexity. Like Arch is too, I don't know. You can break easily, and I like things that work. Good luck, man. It's a great adventure and learning experience. Are you talking to me or innovation? I can't tell. I kind of want to go Arch as you put it. I'm sure I could do it at this point. Cool. It's weird because now you guys are like the chat is popping enough that you're having your own conversations. That's very fun. Got you. I thought so. It just feels good having everything tailored to how you want it. Yeah, that's fair. Per initial recommendations, though, I will eventually try Void Linux as well. So that's the next when I do my foray into low level. Maybe I'll do a Void stream. So all right, cool. So that's that, I think. And then now we're going to go to writing a Docker file. A Docker file. Okay, so let's do a new note, I guess. Docker file. It was a toss up between Fedora and Arch though. Fedora seems pretty good as well. Void, yes. Void, I don't know. I definitely want to play around with it. It seems cool. And like I was learning about like init systems. Like I was watching a video. There's this YouTuber that uses Void that I was watching, and I was basically like watching like how it doesn't use like systemd as the init system and like these sorts of things. So that all sounds fun and cool to learn. Arch breaks for someone who doesn't fully understand it. That means you can control what you upgrade as a roll and release or wait for a certain fix. Yeah, and I mean, for me, I don't feel like I'm like at the level like where I want to have that like level of control yet, to be honest. So that's why I use Fedora, because it's more batteries included, I suppose, in the sense that it kind of does things for you. All right, so. Providing instructions to the image builder on certain commands to run, files to copy, startup, etc. So I think if I like copied this and then included this as, I think I can just do like this, right? Yep. Or I can even do YAML as the syntax here. Or even Dockerfile. I guess Dockerfile is better. That's pretty cool. Neat. So these are like the commands here, and then this is like the data associated with the command. Or instructions, I guess, not really commands. Just use nix. Yeah, I feel like nix is kind of tricky. Because it's all declarative, right? Like nix is all, like that scares me a little bit. Like the fact that it's all declarative. I don't know. It seems like, sure, it's easy to like, you know, you could spin up multiple nix virtual machines that all have the same configuration, but I don't know. How's it going, Splinty? Nix is cool, but it's like way too much work. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Truth be told, I don't find Linux distros that exciting. I just want low resource usage and good Hyperland setup. Yeah, so like Hyperland is like it's like a window manager, right? Which isn't like a full desktop environment in the sense that it only manages Windows. It doesn't have like the like dock and all these other desktop-y things, right? That's my understanding. Nix is a whole lifestyle. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I've seen people on YouTube talk about it. All right, so common instructions. So from image, so specify base image that the build extends as in layers on top of, or not on top of, as in layers from, or as in extends. Yeah, I guess it's extends. Uses as a base for extension, adding layers, I guess. Work directory. Window manager, got you. i3 still wins at resource usage. That's fair. FreeBSD better than all. I'm not sure what that is. Is that Linux? I don't know. Or is it not Linux? I have a feeling it's not Linux because I feel like it's its own thing, right? I've heard of it. Is that like, I don't know. Okay. I'm honestly not super like operating system savvy yet. I'm still learning. I'm still learning a lot. Okay, this is instruction specifies the working directory or the path in the image where files will be copied and commands will be executed. Okay, so it's okay, so specifies the specific path within the image base image, where files will be copied and commands will be executed. Like to keep other parts of the base image untouched. I would assume that's right. And see, this is the other thing that I do with note taking, is I kind of ask myself questions inside, like make educated guesses on things as I'm writing, and then kind of fill in those gaps later when I go to review my notes. So if we copy host path to image path, what does this do? Tells builder to copy files from host and put them into the container specified by the path, image path. FreeBSD seems cool, but Linux is more adoption. Okay, so it is its own operating system. I'm sure there are like setup configs, right? Like there's like, I know dot files like is one thing, but I don't know if there's like a dot file. It's probably not that simple. But like I know there's probably like configs people have out there, kind of like how NeoVim has that like lazy config thing. I was watching a video about that. Linux has more adoption, yeah. That's the other thing. Yeah, so okay, so I would assume though, yeah, so FreeBSD is an operating system then. It's not just a kernel. Or I guess an operating system kind of is a kernel. I don't know. Once you have your i3 set up, honestly, who cares about animations? Yeah, fair. Last time I used a window manager, the thing to that extent was an 09. Oh, interesting. Ricing is cool. Yeah, ricing, like customizing. Google Compiz Fusion 3D Desktop. Okay. Yo. This is crazy. This is also disgustingly 2009 too. I would like, what, like, is it like just animated like this? Like, okay, so you got like multiple desktops. Operating system is a bit overloaded because people describe both the kernel and the userland programs like a file explorer. Yeah. Okay, so is FreeBSD then, does FreeBSD provide a full system or is it just a kernel? I guess that's my question. It was peak, yeah. This is like very like Frutiger Arrow, or is it Frutiger Arrow? I don't know how to pronounce it. Aesthetics, like Windows Vista-y looking, Windows 7. That's because people didn't pay attention in OS classes. How long did it take me to learn front end? Well, I'm still learning Thunder, but it took me about maybe like 3.5 months to learn the basics, I would say. And that's having already learned how to code, right? Yes, it's a full system, like how it sets itself apart from Linux. Got you. BSD is everything included? Nice. You're learning Docker. No, I'm on a break right now. I'm on a break, technically, so I'm good for the next 2 minutes. I don't know. I'm trying to code switch here. I distracted him with PC culture from the past. Yes. Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I remember in elementary school, we used Windows XP. So that was like peak, you know? I think my school uses O-Step. Is that like, I don't know what that is either. You guys are just, oh, O-Step's a book. I see. Okay, sorry. We didn't, OSTEP. O-Step. Win98 was good too. Actually, fun fact, the first operating system I ever used was Windows 98. And it was on my dad's old work laptop that he let me play with when I was like literally 3 or 4 years old. And that's like how I like learned like what the desktop was and like how to like use a mouse and stuff. I was quite literally like a toddler. It was this like thick gray Windows 98 laptop, and it was the early 2000s. You'll probably have to read when I take OS course. Yeah, our OS course was very. I don't think it was that good, and like the prof kind of sucked. We also didn't have a book associated with it. At least I don't think we did. First time I saw XP on my friend's dad's computer, it really felt like a glimpse into the future. That's fair. I remember the thing how goddamn good look the UI looked compared to Windows 2000. Yeah, I think the thing for me is like, I don't know. I that was like the very beginning of my learning computers journey. Hated Windows 8. Yeah, Windows 8 sucked. Concurrency is a good topic. Yeah, we actually had an entire course on concurrency, and it was concurrency and parallelism, and it was like basically like temporal logic and stuff like that. It is hard though. Because like there's the difference, right? Because concurrency is like basically like task switching, right, on one thread. Whereas like parallelism is like multi-threads. That's my basic understanding of it. So you can run processes concurrently by kind of time, like resource sharing. So it's like process A runs for like, 30 milliseconds, then process B runs for 50 milliseconds, and then process A runs again, and it's kind of like time chunked, right? That's about right. Yeah, that's what I remember from that course basically. And then basically what you can do is you can use like linear temporal logic. I think it's LTL, or linear temporal logic. Sorry, we're going on a side tangent here. But you can use this kind of algebra to like basically translate running a concurrent system. It's like a mathematical model essentially, I think, to kind of describe concurrent systems. That's what I remember at least. Concurrency is how you can have 100 programs running on a single CPU. Yeah, exactly. But we did a lot of like linear temporal logic, and there's also computational tree logic, which is its whole thing too. That's kind of like where you can have multiple different possibilities of things running. But anyway, so let's continue forward. All right, so run would be command. So you can run a command. Tells the builder to run a specific command, like shell. I think it's a shell command, I would assume. And then environment, set environment variable. But not the image, right? And then so expose indicates exposed port from the image, or wait, what would this be? The instruction sets configuration on the image that indicates a port from the image, I guess, on the running container. Something like this. So you like expose 8080, then you can access the running container by 8080. Yo, how's it going, Yash? I'm doing pretty well. Streams going well. Parallel computation is interesting work too. Yeah, that's true. Because then you get, with parallel computation, you get shared resources, right? And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like Petri nets, but I remember we did a lot of Petri nets, right, to model parallelly run, like processes running in parallel with shared resources to like avoid deadlock and stuff like this, right? So there's a lot of cool things associated with that. No AI, interesting. However, to learn faster, I think we need to get generate some new stuff and try to figure out a reverse engineer to understand really faster. That's fair, Testone. It's mostly for me. It's just personal preference, but I do understand. Not even understand. I do appreciate or / understand people that do use AI. I just think you should use it with caution. Use at your own risk in the sense that it could lead you astray a little bit. Don't make me learn math for all that stuff. I don't know. That's just what we did. Dining philosopher. Yeah, that's basically like you have like, you have 5 forks and 5 philosophers, but for a philosopher to eat, he needs 2 forks, right? So then he needs to so basically you can reach a situation of deadlock where you have like all philosophers in the table holding 1 fork, but none of them can like set the fork down without, so that's like a deadlock situation. Anyway, dining philosopher's problem I would recommend as like a foray into deadlock. Is it actually day 123? Yes, it is. Using AI as a tool rather than having it do the work for you is the best thing to do. I agree, Salty, 100%. I just am in a space right now where I want to not use it, and then maybe down the road I could use it as a tool, right? Maybe, and kind of, and in the sense that, and I say that in the sense that like I want to learn what it can and can't do for me, right? Because AI again is a parrot. It basically takes the corpus of its training and outputs probabilistic text based on its training data, right? So it only goes as far as that, right? It's not a magic box that can create things, and come up with ideas like we can. Yeah, exactly. Because why? Because it has that corpus of training data, right? Solely relying on documentation. Yep, documentation and my YouTube community as well, Testone. I do, unlike a lot of YouTubers, I do actually, calling myself a YouTuber. It's a little weird because I'm not really, but I do let my community give me pointers as well. That's fair, JMac. Yeah, I get that. We actually use it at work as well for writing documentation for like processes, like technician workflows and stuff. And it's okay for that. I use it to generate a boilerplate for my documentation and then fill in the gaps. That's what I use it for. Yeah, exactly. Yep, I get that. Like for at work, like I'll use Copilot we use Copilot just because that's what we have, but I'll use Copilot to scaffold out a documentation, like writing documentation just to make that part faster. Because like we have a standard at work that we use, so I'll like put in the standard instructions and then I'll say scaffold out documentation for this, and then I'll go in and edit it. But that's been like my workflow lately for that because documentation is important. User or UID. Set default user for all subsequent instructions. Because I think by default, is it root? I don't know. I feel like it is, right? So if we go to, user, yeah, it is. See, we'll be running the root group. By default, it is root. It is run in root, I think. Oh, no, wait. When the user doesn't have a primary group. Okay, I see. Jira plus Confluence plus repo, incorporate environment plus some experience and knowledge in computer science, and you're going places. Yeah, we don't use Jira at work, which is kind of crazy. The repo I'm working on is refactor. Is previously AI uploaded repo? Yeah. Am I working remote? Yeah, I do work remote, Deja. Not off of this machine though. I have a separate work laptop. We use Lenovo at work. I actually use a ThinkPad. for work, but that was given to me by my agency. I would assume this runs under root, right? It's run under root. Either if no user is provided, or wait, maybe the user, it is, by default is run root if there is no specified group membership for the user. I'll say that, and then I'll kind of include this as a reference. So that's good. And then command cmd, oops. Sets default command that a container using this image will run. Okay. Very neat, very neat. Just as you saw in the previous example, Dockerfile typically follows these steps: determine your base image, install application dependencies, copy any relevant source code. Docker files generally follow this layout. Determine base image. Oops. I'll make this numbered. Install app dependencies. Axum. All roads lead to C. That's fair. I mean, it has been around for what, like 55 years. C streams are coming. If you want to early C streams, become a member. We'll be testing that out on member streams, and then maybe doing streams to everybody else after. But I do want to do C. I think because I did it a bit in school, and you know, so I want to learn more of it. Copy any relevant source code in our binaries. Copy relevant source / binaries from host. I would assume from host, right? And then configure final image. Okay. Okay, so let's do our command line again. Let's just make sure that this can be seen. Okay, it can be. Okay, so you can see the command line there. I love C, but it's a real pain in the ass for a lot of things. That's fair. I mean, the other thing too, like with these kind of lower level languages, whether it's Rust, C, etc., right, is you have to manage your own memory, which I think is a really important concept. Why am I learning web dev, Burb? Mostly just as a initial foray into software development. I thought web dev, you know, was a good choice for that. You can read more of my FAQ here as well if you want to know a little bit more about what I do here and why. So I think I addressed that that question in my FAQ. So let's getting started. App. Or wait, is there no? Oh, there's no app in here. Oh, okay, never mind. It was just getting started to do app. This is technically misinformation right here. So we can just rm Dockerfile. Create a file named Dockerfile. So we'll touch Dockerfile. All right. And then we can open it as well. Not gonna lie, I kind of want to deep dive Rust, but also lazy on that. That's fair. All right. Are you ready to use Vim on stream? We're gonna use Vim, guys. And I'm not a Vim user, but I like it for basic stuff. Like I'm not a power user for Vim or anything like that. So it's like I only know the basics, but it's better than Nano. So we're gonna do this. So we're gonna say from node 22 Alpine. So what is Alpine? Node 22 Alpine. Is that the version of Node? I guess that's the version of Node, right? Node 22 Alpine. Assuming that's the Node version. Yes. Okay, so that is the base image. So how do I do comments? Dockerfile comments. Oh, it's just hashtag. Okay, that's easy. Base image. Yo, good night. Have a good night, Will, and thanks for joining the stream. Really appreciate it. No NeoVim? Not yet. Not yet. Absolute truth nuke. Nano is really annoying. Yeah, I find it really annoying. I used it for a bit. I literally wrote, guys. I wrote C code in Nano in my operating systems course, and it was a pain in the ass. So I was like, I'm gonna learn Vim instead. But basically, all I know is like insert, and then like I can look up basic stuff. Like if I want to look up Node, I can like look that up. But like I don't know much about Vim really. And Vim Mogs, fair enough. Yeah, it was a basic like. We had to write a C program using the fork system call to generate a tree of processes. That was what we had to do. And I wrote that in, I remember it was like second assignment, and I wrote it all in Nano. So work directory app, copy all the files from your project on your machine into the container image by using the copy instruction. But I don't know if like this is the right, I guess it would just be the root, like the current directory, right? So from current directory to current directory. Learning Vim motions is pretty good. Yeah, I haven't learned Vim motions or anything like that. I still just use the arrow keys like a pleb. How long till Ben switches to Emacs? I saw that video you posted of that girl who was like using Nix and Emacs. It just reminds me of that because that kind of blew up. It was on my page too. I was like, you know who used Emacs actually was my my cryptography professor. Absolute Chad, by the way. That guy like was goated. He used Emacs inside of Ubuntu. And would literally like live code in Emacs during lectures and wrote an entire, I think it was, what was it? I forget the algorithm off the top of my head, but I think it was, he wrote a hashing function live in class in Emacs. That's what he did, and used his macros. And then he was like, oh, by the way, that's a macro for this. And we were like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it's just like, that guy, that was a fantastic class, though. So we have to use yarn CLI package. Do we have to? Maybe we do, because maybe the base image uses yarn. I don't know. Let me look this up, actually. Let's see. Maybe not. I don't know. Could we use another one though? Like, why do we have to use yarn here? I don't know. To do so. That's why I'm still a 0.1x engineer. Yeah, I'm a 0.001x engineer, guys. I'm a simple NVim LARPer. I can't compete with Emacs wizards. I'm not an engineer because I don't know an engineering degree. Yeah, that Canada moment right there. I'm not an engineer either. I am a computer science degree holder. That's it. That's all I can say. But honestly, it's such a, like, engineering in Canada is such a LARP too, though, I think, a little bit. Like, with the freaking, like, I know they get the rings too. Is that just a Canada thing? With the pinky rings for the engineers? I don't know if that's just a Canada thing. But I know that my buddy graduated engineering and he got a ring, an iron ring. Like, I don't know. It's just like one big, like, LARP fest, it feels like. But I don't know. I'm kind of kidding. Yeah, they get rings. Let me look it up. Engineering iron ring. Iron ring is worn by many Canadian engineers as a symbol and reminder of the obligations and ethics associated with their profession. Yeah, it's a Canadian thing, I guess. Fair enough, JMac. It does sound European, but it looks like it was started in Canada. This guy basically wanted to tell everybody that he was better than everyone else, right? So, I mean, that makes sense. But it is, I knew it was a Canada thing. But no, no, I couldn't do engineering. I don't think I'm academic enough for engineering. I was pretty decent at school, but engineering is very difficult. There's a big difference between just regular schmegular CS and engineering. I actually forgot we got rings at the end of the degree. Yeah. Yep. We didn't, though, because we were just pleb CS students, and then the Chad software engineers got theirs. Because the school I went to had a software eng program, but I didn't do it because it didn't have the 2-year accelerated thing. If I wanted to get into first of all, I wouldn't have gotten into software engineering. Second of all, even if I did, I would have had to do 4 years. So screw that shit. So I just did the pleb thing. So node, and then from this directory, right? And then, so that's what everything should look like. Okay, so now it's in production ready. So we can just, like, presumably save this, right? And then can we, like, not run it? Like Docker, I don't know, what was the command for that again? Because this is our image, right? Hold on. Or was it just Docker compose up? Because I don't know if that uses the... Docker run? Oh, okay, that's fair. Docker run, just root directory. Oh. Debug this container error with Gordon. Docker run help? Holy shit. Oh, does it need to be like Docker run and then like in the background detach maybe? No. I just want to make sure that the Docker file I wrote works, right? Apologize. Docker pull. Let's see, do I even have the command in here? Container commit, no, that's that one. Containers, that's the Docker compose. Well, it should be Docker run, that would make sense to me. Docker image, Docker pull, Docker welcome, Docker search. Ah, okay, it is, okay. Docker build, oh, okay. Thank you, I appreciate that. That makes sense. Okay, so we build it. Okay, so then we got an error. Failed to build, failed to solve Docker file parse, error line 1. From requires either 1 or 3 arguments. Did I fuck it up? How did I fuck it up? Maybe we don't have that base image? Or did I misspell it? maybe this comment can't be on the same line. That could be. What is Docker? Why are you using it? Newbie here. Docker is basically a way to run your the different parts. I mean, it's to run anything, but the specific reason that I'm using it, Deja, is to run the different parts of my full stack app, like my front end, my back end, and my database inside of their own isolated processes, which is not only good for kind of consolidating resource use, but also makes it easier for kind of getting the process deployed on other machines. I think that's kind of my understanding, at least. I think it parses the comment as an argument. So I need it on a new line then. That's it. Now it's a different color. I see. Node 22 Alpine is the base image. Now we're like a light blue, so that's better. So now let's try this again. Okay, that worked. Very good, I think. And then now I could Docker run, right? Or not. Okay, maybe not. We can build it. At least. I'm still going. Yes, I am. Indeed. Okay, but then if we want to build... Okay, so we can build, tag, and publish. Okay, but then we can't run it. I don't know. All right, so let's build the image. Just got home from work. Nice, Jay. Yeah, I might even do a 6th session, only because girlfriend's out of town. So I might honestly go for a 6th session here. If you guys are cool with that. Because I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm a bit on a roll right now, so... Work? You all got jobs? What do you mean? Like, I have a job, yes. My girlfriend's visiting family out of town though. But no, she's not working. In this guide you'll learn the following: building images, tagging images. See, if we were patient, guys, we would have gotten there, right? Okay, so then when we run it, we need the SHA hash. So Docker run. Okay, so where do we write? Where does it say writing image? So we run Docker build again. Where does it say writing image? I don't know. Exporting layers. So it's this then. So it'd be Moby dangling. No, keep reading. Yes. But so Moby dangling's the name, right? So if we did Docker run Moby dangling. Oh, no? Is that not what this is? Is that not this? Actually praying New Grad Market has a job for me when I grad. Specify the image name. Yeah. Introduction to name tags. Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, I'm trying to jump ahead here. Okay, fair enough. All right, I'm gonna take a 5-minute break here. Just talk to chat. Okay, all right, okay. I hear you. Okay. We'll get there. But yeah, for me, like, my thing was like, I realized pretty soon after I started my CS degree that I was like cooked. There's no way I was getting a dev job, especially with the AI market, especially like, and with like the just learning like CS theory. Like I didn't actually like know how to build projects, right? So that's why I went into like quite literally the internship I did was help desk. It was help desk and building dashboards. That's all I did, because I knew that I was not good enough to, because I wasn't. I mean, I had been doing web dev since I was 4, like some of the kids I went to school with, right? So I was like, yeah, there's probably no chance for me in that area. So that's why I did IT ultimately. But then once I did help desk for like 4 months, and then I got my CS degree, having the degree actually like made my employer falsely believe that I knew what I was doing. So they gave me a tier 2 job, or offered me a tier 2 job, I should say, out of school. Which tier 2 is a lot better than tier 1, which tier 1's like help desk. Yeah, basically just like help desk and answering the phones and stuff like that, and rerouting tickets and blah, 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 like basic stuff. But tier 2 is a little bit more involved. Now, mind you, there's multiple tier 2 roles. But yeah, that was my path. But no, IT is nothing like what they teach you in CS. CS was basically just like a LARP ticket to get into my job. I knew a senior CS major that didn't know what Node was. Yeah, exactly. Right? Like, we know things like discrete math, calculus, linear algebra, statistics, even things like Python and like data structures and algorithms, these sorts of like CS concepts, but we don't actually like know fucking like how to actually build anything, right? Which is why like IT, again, IT is its own sphere, right? So like and like CS didn't teach me anything about IT. So it was basically like, yeah, you have a CS degree. Are you qualified? Basically, my employer thought I was qualified for the job because I had the CS degree, but really I wasn't. I was just qualified to get the job. But was I qualified for the job? Probably not. I would say I am now. But when I first got my job, I was like learning for like 3 months. Actually, longer than that. Like, I'm still learning workflows, even like a year later. I mean, I feel like I've gotten the hang of it, but like it's very different from like CS stuff, right? Like, it's very, very different. If you try turning machine on and off again, yeah, exactly, that sort of thing. Actually, you know what's crazy is not too long ago we switched to a service desk from a help desk, which the difference is huge. Not really. The service desk has user-facing documentation and these sorts of things, right? We just added a workflow and automation for users resetting their own passwords instead of us having to do it in Active Directory. And my God, that has been revolutionary. So now the users can reset their own fucking passwords after 90 days. That's why they want people with 10 years of experience for entry-level IT jobs. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Sorry, I just like choked on my own spit. Yeah, I don't know. I was lucky enough to get a student internship for that initial help desk experience. Learning Dijkstra was definitely cool. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely was. Or like even like dynamic dynamic programming kind of blew my mind a little bit. All right, I think I'm gonna quickly fill up my water here. I feel like I need a drink of water, so I'll be right back. Yes, of course. I need drinks, not alcoholic drinks, of course. Just good old Brita filter water, because the city water here is dog shit. Brita filter, why? Because it's cheap, or the cheapest option. Let's see. I like how IT teaches a bit of CS. Not in my job, unfortunately. You know what my job teaches? PowerShell, Azure. PowerShell and Azure are like the two main ones, or Azure, whatever, however you want to pronounce it. And like Power Automate. Put you onto Power Automate. That shit is crazy. Not really. I don't know. Power Automate's actually disgusting. Like if you look up Power Automate, it's basically like visual scripting. It's dog shit, actually. It's like this sort of thing. It's like for automations in like a Windows environment. It's terrible. I have to use it, unfortunately. But yeah. Oh, the cat just, my cat just ran to the front door. It's because there's people in the hallway. You can hear people. All right. Let's continue. The only courses I've liked are the ones in C or Verilog. Yeah, fair. I'm actually taking a course right now, or a cert for like an Azure cert for work. So it's all Azure, basically. Like what I call it DevOps, not really. It's more like system administration, because like a lot of my job is supposed to be sysadmin stuff, but it's not really. It's like mostly just like documentation writing, and like coordinating between teams. It's basically what I do. Like 80% of my job is just following up and scheduling meetings and writing emails and boring stuff, unfortunately. But you know, it is what it is. All right, so tagging images. So let's try running it by the SHA-256. That's what it was. By the way, secure. I think it's, what is it? Secure hash algorithm. Yeah, secure hash algorithm. That's what that was. So I remember I mentioned my cryptography professor. He wrote a SHA-256 algorithm live in class in Emacs. That was what he did. Absolute Chad. And he did it in like 20 minutes too, which is kind of crazy. I could never, frankly. So now this should work, right? Okay, it kind of worked. Cannot find module app source index.js. Oh, because, okay. Was there no index.js? I don't know. Should have been. Oh, I guess there's not. Wait, let me cd into client and see what's in there. That's probably what I want. Or maybe then cd source, right? So it'd be client source. So I actually have to edit this. They gave me the wrong spot for that. I need to go back a directory here. Okay, this is actually client is what I want. I think. And then if I cd client source, then we have our main.jsx. Or do we even have an app? Maybe not. I don't know why it was telling me to do that. The /app. I don't know. My friend works on Azure. I think he works in DB internals. Yeah. That's a lot of what I do as well. Archival stuff. Like I'm working with, we use Azure to host our VM. Well, we don't host VMs on Azure necessarily, but we use Azure to administer our VMs, which are usually just database VMs. And then those database VMs contain data that we need to archive usually. So that's kind of like also what I'm doing. I'm actually working on a project related to that. I used to be way better at JS when I used it every day, but I forgot 90% of it. That's fair. I feel like the app that it's using here and the example that I have are different. Actually, I'm almost certain that they're different. So I'm kind of confused because it was supposed to be getting started to do app. Let me just go back into here and see my projects. Because was it the getting started to do app? I don't know. I think it was. Yeah, it was. There is no /app in here though. That's the thing. I don't know. Unless it was a specific branch, right? Build image from scratch. Ah, that's the branch I need. Okay, so that's why, because it has the app here. Okay, let me redo that. So if we do cd or let's clone from this, right? But I want to use that specific branch. Oh, I need to check that branch out. Hold on. Or can I even? Let me go into getting git checkout. It would be where would that branch be? Build. There we go. Please commit your changes. Really changes this files are overridden. Oh, boo. Oh, because I see, okay. So I have to. Okay, we're figuring shit out. Oh, because I need to add, of course. Blah. Git add. And there we go. Good. Don't mind me. Git checkout. Build from scratch. There we go. Now I can do our Docker file. So if we ls, now we have the app. So we can do touch or vim Docker file. And then now we can rewrite that. Okay. So from node 22 Alpine workdir app copy run yarn install production, and then command was node and then in source app.js, I think, or index. Okay. Okay, that should be good. And then build a tag. So let's build it. Okay, good. And then we'll run it. We'll make sure that it can run based on the hash. Really? There's index.js in there. Cannot find module app source. Oh, it needs to be .app. Maybe. Hold on. I didn't mean to do that backslash. cd. There we go. Okay. Vim docker. So this is our workspace or work directory, I think. Although it doesn't have a dot specified there, so I'm kind of confused by that. Relative work directory app can have unexpected results. Okay, so it was root from the, But then why did it say there was no directory? Because there should have been. Interesting. So if we try to Docker run that sucker, it's probably not going to work, right? It's a different hash. Okay, so I got to get a different hash in here. Okay. Yeah, so cannot find app source index. Module not found. Yeah, I don't know. Let's try tagging first. Tagging images in this method is the method to provide an image with a memorable name. Images can be tagged to provide them with a memorable name. However, there is structure to a tag name. Host, port, slash, path, and then a tag. So the host is the if I could actually type properly. Registry hostname, where the image is, port number, registry port num. Path is the path to image or of image. Yeah. And then the where namespace is either users or organization's name. If no namespace is specified, library is used, which is the namespace for Docker official images. For Docker Hub, actually I'll make this a sub. For Docker Hub, the format is namespace repo. And the namespace or an organization. If no namespace is given, the default Docker Hub library is used, which I'm assuming has a set of base packages, or not packages, base images, right, or something like that. So tag is custom identifier. To delineate different versions of an image or variations. Default is latest. Very cool. So to build with a tag, use the flag -t flag. So like Docker build BenStack dev / my image, something like this. So let's bring this back up. Oh, the terminal's frozen. Let me refresh the monitor. Okay, there we go. Yo, how's it going, Johnny? Welcome, welcome. So let's try that again. Docker build BenStack dev / oh wait, actually I want to do this. Let's just say to do tests or something. Okay. And then I'm assuming I can Docker run that, right? But it's going to give me that error. Yeah. Because the module, I can't find the module. Which is stupid because it is in there. Right, so if we go cd app source, we have index.js, right? /app/source/index. I don't know. I don't know why that's not working, but I digress. So if you've already built an image, you can add another tag. So we could add a tag to it. So we could say Docker image tag BenStack dev / to do tests. BenStack dev / to do test v2 tag my tag, or we could just say 1.0 or something. Very cool. And then we can do the Docker push. Very cool. And then now that should appear inside of our Docker hub, right? I think. No. Maybe not. Docker.io / BenStack dev. Is this a thing? Oh. Did I miss something? Docker push. If we were able to push an image to your browser, you need to be authenticated. To do so, use this Docker logging command. Okay, yeah, but I did that through the app, which should have worked, right? So I don't know. Docker login? Oh, okay. So that fit, did that do it? I don't know. No, interesting. I don't know why that didn't push. Yeah, weird. Not sure what's going on with that. I'll look into that off stream. All right, so let's see. In this hands-on guide, you'll build a simple image using provided Docker file and push it to Docker Hub. Okay, so I think we can do this as well. If you don't have Docker account, blah, blah, blah. Docker build. Okay, we need to clone this. Oh, wait. It's still the same getting started to do app thing. You know what we'll do? We will just rmrf that fucking file. I don't care. And then recreate it. Getting started to do app. And then we'll git clone it again. Okay, just start from scratch. So let's do that. Using the terminal and the root of your sample app repository, so then we'll cd into it. So Docker build BenStack dev to do tests, and then this current directory. What's up, buddy? I think my cat wants attention. Docker system prune. Does that like get rid of, what does that do? Remove all unused containers, network images, and optionally volumes. Sure. Oh, Docker system. Okay. And then we'll rebuild that, I guess. Just cleans the Docker system, safe space, etc. Yeah, that's fair. You're welcome. 6 gigabytes free? Yes, indeed. You are right. Okay, that's good to know. I'm gonna keep this as well. I'm just throwing them all in other resources right now, but I'm gonna consolidate them. Okay, so we're building that. Wait, but this was build image. Four-hour stream today. I just went for dinner and came back. No, it's 3 hours. The trick with Docker is to use everything with the GI web interface. Yeah, I'm using the CLI. Don't worry. I'm comfortable with the CLI. Hated. Okay. So now if we Docker image ls, then we should see that. Very cool. And then we could do a Docker image history, BenStack dev / to do tests. Okay. Very cool. So it says things are missing. Oh, these are the missing images. Ah, I see. Okay, because our image changed, right? I don't know. Now push the image. I read that wrong. I thought you were saying not to put a website in Docker container. What do you mean? I'm literally just going through the docs here. Docker login. Okay. So we authenticated. Then Docker push BenStack dev / to do tests. This looks more promising. Oh, got you. Cool. So now it should be in here. Theoretically. Unless I'm out, is my plan like, oh, I get 100 Docker hub pulls. Okay. But this should be in here now, no? I believe the fancy stuff is using Compose nowadays, so you can have several recipes. Yeah. I actually did a little bit of some Compose stuff. I don't know why this isn't showing up in here. Like, this should be in my repositories, no? We did do Compose earlier on, right here. So I don't know why that image didn't get published. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'll have to look into that. But theoretically, that would have worked, right? Hey, what sources do you use to learn all this? Literally the Docker documentation. So the getting started, where is it? Yeah, like literally this. What is Docker? Docker is it basically containerizes applications to run them as isolated processes, which basically allows it kind of separates out processes so that they I'm not the best at explaining this yet because I'm still learning. But they kind of have their own resources, and they don't have to kind of like what is like dedicated resources, right? And they don't have to kind of share with others, and they also have their own like context as well. But it's like, yeah, it's like an isolated process essentially. I'm in senior year of CS right now, and I remember my prof talking about this. I'm so much in panic mode for my last year. What do you mean? Like talking about what? Sorry. You like Alpine images? I thought, isn't Alpine just the name of... I thought it was just the name of the Node version. Is that not what this is? I don't know. I'm still learning. Don't you need to commit or something like that? Oh, maybe I do actually. I don't know. But I would assume this, it says after a moment your image should be pushed to Docker Hub. So I would assume, I think committing is for Docker Compose. That's my understanding. Usually we do the commit and git. Yeah, that's for git specifically. Alpine is an operating system that ships inside of 8 megabytes, a Linux distro. Ah, I see. Okay. So it's like, so you can use it as like, I see. It's like a base image then. I see. Okay, so instead of using something like Ubuntu, then you would use Alpine. Okay, I see. As like a base image for other images, I guess. So this it said after a moment it should push, but yeah, I don't know. It's still not appearing, so I don't know what the hell's going on. But anyway, I think I'm gonna leave off the stream here for now, because I have been going for over 3 hours, and I'm getting a little tired. But it's, you know, like my prof taught us this, but I know nothing. I mean, I see. I took CS, man, and I didn't learn any of this stuff, so I wouldn't panic. I'm on the teaching myself path, so I wouldn't worry about it. I did a whole CS degree and a year of IT and did not understand Docker, and I still don't. So I've got a long way to go myself. But anyway, I've been streaming for 3 hours. I really appreciate each and every one of you coming to the stream. If you want to see more of what I do, feel free to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I also just unlocked YouTube membership, so if you want to help out the channel, that'd be great. Get access to exclusive streams coming in the future, this sorts of things. Gain a subscriber, good evening. Take that sub, appreciate it. I also have a Discord community that you can join as well if that interests you, with over 270 members. And yeah, I'm just going to head out for the night, and I'll see you all. The next stream should be tomorrow afternoon. Again, you could also join the Discord for stream updates as well. I usually post weekly schedules there. They change, they fluctuate, but you can get a general idea of when I'm going to be streaming if you go there. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see